sided with the majority here, 6-3. John Roberts is always there when we don't need him. And however, he did rule correctly, which I will say that's good. Talk about, so you had a big victory recently, a couple days ago, right? The main case, that's going to have implications for religious freedom nationwide. And that is another question I have about the Second Amendment case. So maybe you could answer both at the same time while telling us about your case. Is it now true to say that the case in New York will then apply to all other, is now concealed carry a constitutional right in every American state? Is that right?
No, it didn't say that you can't have requirements. For instance, that you have an ability that for instance, mental illness or a weapons charge. Maybe you're a felon, or it didn't say that you can't have restrictions. It just said that you can't have a restriction that's not based upon like your ability to carry a firearm, but instead is like, show us your reason, your proper cause. It's like, this is not an authority. So there will still be concealed weapons, concealed carry requirements in states. But it definitely, again, puts the power back in the individual and their Second Amendment rights.
And it strikes down this idea that you have to prove to the government why you have a right, which is the more important issue there. So then tell us about your main case. And is your main case, does that have a precedent now that could apply to the rest of the country?
It will. The main case was it was a law that said in Maine, most of the public school districts, they call them SAUs, but most of us refer to those as school districts, don't have public schools, especially in the rural areas. So they've allowed for years parents to choose where to send their tax money, public or private schools. Even out of state, they could even, even out of country was okay. But then they decided to put in a provision that said, but we're not going to allow you to pick a school where they teach from a religious viewpoint.
That's amazing.
And again, think about this. Justice Alito did a great job in the oral argument pointing out, so a Marxist school is okay. A white supremacist school, okay. But a religious school, not okay. And they had to admit, yes. And so it was just clear discrimination. It's a program that was available to everybody. Instead of treating everybody the same, they discriminated against religion. And the Supreme Court struck that down. That's really important in one obvious way, and then I'll go a broader way. An obvious way, because this means every school choice program in the country, wherever they exist and wherever they're passed in the future, it's very clear you cannot exclude religious schools from the parental choices.
So that does apply to the rest of the country. Why would that apply and the Second Amendment case won't? Is it a technical difference or?
No, it'll apply because it's a constitutional provision, in this case, free exercise.
Got it. Okay.
That says it's going to apply everywhere. The Second Amendment applies everywhere, but not everybody has this show us your proper cause provision. And that's really what was at play in New York. To the extent any state tried to do that, it would apply to that. So, but the main school choice religious liberty case will affect every school choice program. And then again, they said you don't have to do school choice, but if you choose to do any program, not just school choice, notice this, any program where the government provides benefits generally to everyone, you cannot put religious restrictions upon people. The people are making the choice. The parents are making the choice. And so realize, Charlie, that means this will apply outside of just the school choice context. There's lots of government program where they offer benefits to everyone. And then they try to come in and say, but we don't want you to use that for some religious purpose. Let's say they were dealing with people who were having problems with drugs and they were teenagers. And they had this big program of people who were really helping and showing results with teenagers and getting them off of drugs. There are people that would say, well, the religious groups shouldn't be able to participate in that program. This would say you can't do that.
That's amazing.
And so it's going to have broad implications.
First Liberty is the one that brought it to victory, and it's going to have amazing implications. Kelly, stay right there for one more segment. I have a couple more questions I want to explore with you. Everybody.